All right, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1994 Lexus LS400. Up front is a 4.0 liter V8 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. If you're wondering more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive where I'll be writing a complete article about the Lexus LS400. But let's get back to that 4.0 liter V8 known as the 1UZ. Now this is a pretty famous engine. A lot of enthusiasts like this engine. It is a Toyota V8, which is sort of sounds weird to say. Toyota hasn't really made that many V8s, but the 1UZ is an all-alloy V8, which means it's pretty light and it's super reliable. That's the biggest thing about Toyota, is that they make very reliable products, and so this is actually a reliable V8. Some people, once you get up into the higher mileage, might have a little bit of oil issues, but you add a quart here and there, and you're perfectly fine. These engines run forever. Now, speaking of running forever, there's another YouTuber, he's very famous, The Smoking Tire. He actually has a Lexus LS400 that is about to hit, as of the making this video, is about to hit 1 million miles on the car. So if you want to talk about reliability, and I'm actually going to pause here, because there's another Lexus LS400 right there. Still running, a little rusty, still running though. These cars are really, really reliable, and it's really because of that engine. There's nothing too special about the transmission. It's a 4-speed automatic. It does what it needs to do. Because this is stock exhaust, and it's not really a crazy exhaust, I won't do an exhaust video, but we can do a little pull here. Yeah, it's not a sports car by any means, but what it does do is it does rev to about 6,200 RPM, which is actually pretty impressive for a 1UZ V8. So let's talk about the interior of the LS400. Well, in front of me, I have two main gauges, speedometer and tachometer. I really like that I get both. Being sort of a car enthusiast, I really like it and appreciate it when I know what the car's doing, I know what the RPM gauge is doing, and so if there's an issue and I look down and say, hey, the revs are sitting a little bit lower, I like being able to know that. But that being said, the gauges look really cool. They almost look digital, they're not, but they almost look digital because it's hard to define where the edges are. They look pretty modern. That being said, on the far left, I get coolant temperature. On the far right, I get fuel. And then down below that, I actually get a digital odometer, which I feel like is pretty neat for 1994. To the left, I get power mirrors, and I can switch it left to right here. This is a little interesting thing. I can turn on or off the remote key fob. So if I give my keys to someone and I don't want them to use the key fob or something, I can actually turn off the remote usage of the key fob, which is really, really interesting. Down below that, you can also lock your gas cap and your trunk. So this is sort of like a valet sort of feature. If you don't want anyone getting into your trunk or getting into your gas cap, you can actually lock it with the key. Again, another interesting feature and sort of a protective feature. Then to the far left, we have two interesting things on the door. First and foremost, we have two memory seats. So this car actually came from the factory with two memory seat settings, which is pretty impressive again for 1994. You get two different options, and then of course you get a set button so you can set up which option you want. But to the right of that button, you get another button that actually adjusts the height of your seatbelt. So I'll do it now. Watch over my shoulder. So you can make it more, or for some reason less comfortable, as much as you want. If it's, pulling on you weird, pulling on your shoulder weird, just move it up, move it down, whatever you want. I've actually never seen that in a car, which that was a really, really cool feature that the owner Max told me about, which thank you, Max, for letting me review your LS400. Moving on to the right, we have a bunch of features. We have a ton of climate control options. Front and rear defroster buttons, which is really nice. I love it when front defrosters are a button. On my Pontiac G6, it's either front defroster or inside heat. And you can kind of mix them, but it doesn't always go well, so I like that it's its own option. Temperature up and down, auto, fan off, fan high. You can send the fan anywhere. Really, really nice. Down below that, you do get the Lexus audio system. It's 1994. You have a tape deck, but there is a CD changer. There's a 6 CD changer that is actually in the trunk. And last thing about the radio that I really like is that there's bass, mid, and treble options and you push them, and then they come out of the dash so you can touch them. I really like that. That's sort of a 90s feature, but I really like how you can push them, they pop out, push them back in. Down below that, we get two more interesting buttons. To the far right, you actually get front heated seats. So both the driver and the passenger gets heated seats. Again, very nice option for 94. But then to the left, you actually have traction control off. This doesn't turn it completely off. It doesn't mean that when you hit this button, it's gonna turn into a drift machine by any means. But what it will do is it'll turn off some of the little aids that have to do with traction control. Then you get a little ashtray and cigarette lighter that pops out of the wood-grained dash. You get your shifter, which actually has settings on its own: normal, power, and ECT. Then you get a center console, and that's really it. Now, these seats are very, very comfortable. Very comfortable seats. It was the first thing I noticed when I got in. Now, it is a four-door, four-seater, so we shall do a back seat review. All right, so now we are in the back seat of the Lexus LS400. A couple things to note back here. Seats are very comfortable. That should go without saying. It's a very, very comfortable car. They are leather, but they are very comfortable. I do get ashtrays in the doors, which is really nice. I get two vents right here for climate control. Again, super nice because you can't forget about your rear passengers. I get my own cigarette lighter and then fan controls down here. It's a big slider switch. Both seats have back pockets. And actually, interestingly enough, going back to the vents, there are actually vents under these seats, under the front seats, that shoot hot or cold air onto the feet of the rear passengers. Again, a really, really nice feature there. Center console, no cup holders, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this on camera. It's like one big foam block. So it's actually really light. If you could see how I'm flinging this around, I'm not that strong. Comfortable center console, but not that functional. No cup holders as it seems back here. There is a giant subwoofer behind me. That is a factory subwoofer, so that is part of the factory system, which is really, really neat. Other than that, nothing too crazy back here. I do get speakers on my own doors. I do have these little map lights, but yeah, very comfortable back seats. You could fit 4 people in here very comfortably without an issue. And last but not least, it has a sunroof, which I will leave open for the rest of the duration of this video because it adds nice natural light. Now, I'm gonna say something and I'm gonna justify it and actually battle both sides of the statement, but I wanna say that this is sort of the Japanese version of our Crown Victoria here in America. Now, this car was sold in America. This is an American model. It's actually called something else in Japan. But manufacturing-wise, this was sort of the Crown Vic of Japan. Now I'm going to talk about why that is true, and then I'm also going to talk about why that sort of isn't true, and you can make up your mind on your own. The reason I draw a comparison between this and the Crown Victoria is for a couple reasons. First of all, the drivetrain. They're both V8 large sedans, rear-wheel drive, automatic-only transmissions. This has a 4-liter, the Crown Vic has a 4.6-liter. The other reason is that they're big sedans, they have great sized trunks, as well as they're both very, very comfortable. You get into either car, this, the LS, or the Crown Vic, you're going to be comfortable. They're going to be great road trip cars. They're going to be very plush. They're going to feel like you're sitting in a sofa rather than you're sitting in a vehicle. They're also both relatively cheap vehicles. Now, the reasons that they're not the same, and you could find both of these for pretty cheap. Now, the reason that they're not similar is the Crown Vic is actually a body-on-frame vehicle, so there's a solid frame under it, and they just kind of lay the body on top. This is not. This is a unibody vehicle. The other reason is that this is pretty much spec'd all the way up. Any feature you wanted to get in 1994, this car had that feature. The Crown Vic was more of a fleet vehicle. And also going along with the price, these haven't dropped as low as the Crown Vics. Crown Vics can be picked up running and driving for sometimes as low as $400. But this you're gonna find running and driving decent ones at least $1,500 or more. But I think really in this argument, I'm gonna stick with the fact that this is sort of the Japanese Crown Victoria. I mean, it really is. It's so plush and it has that V8. It has that grunt. It'll get you where you need to go, and it doesn't seem bothered by it. So this Crown Vic LS400 argument, it's a really good battle. It's all going to come down to personal opinion. Honestly, this thing is spec'd out. Like I said, it has those memory seats. Leather. It has heated seats. Crown Vics don't have heated seats, at least from the ones that I've driven. It has those transmission controls. You can turn traction control off. It has the nice digital looking dash. This feels more modern even than the Crown Vic, and the Crown Vic, at least the one that I drove, came out 10 years after this car. This feels more modern. This feels more luxurious. And so if you're going for luxury and you're on a budget, definitely check out Lexus LS400. I mean, it's smooth. It's actually pretty quiet. I don't really have to raise my voice all that much. I know I have. It's a habit of mine. I always talk loud in reviews, but I really don't have to raise my voice. I get a nice sunroof. I'm in plush leather. I actually don't mind this tan interior as much as I have in the past. I'm really, really impressed. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something about the Lexus LS400. Thank you again to Max for letting me review his LS. Max actually has a YouTube channel, and right now he's actually currently doing a little video on my Pontiac G6, so we swapped cars for a little bit here. So go check out his channel. I'll leave it in a link down below. Go check out his reviews. He does awesome stuff, and we should have more planned later this year. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.